In VCR the luminance signal is recorded by A. Frequency modulation, B. Phase modulation, C. Amplitude modulation, D. Direct recording. The correct answer is frequency modulation. In FM modulation pre-emphasis is done for A. High frequency components, B. Low frequency components, C. Middle frequency components, D. Both A and B. The correct answer is high frequency components. CT and MT are used to generate an AM signal. The modulation index of the generated AM signal is 0.5, then the quantity is A12, B14, C13, D18. The correct answer is 18. High intermediate frequency in a superheterodyne receiver. A higher than, B lower than, C equal to, D not comparable to. The correct answer is higher than. The number of repeaters in a coaxial cable link depends on A. System bandwidth, B. Separation of equalizers, C. The number of coaxial cables in the tube, D. None of the above. The correct answer is system bandwidth. The overall noise temperature Te, absolute temperature T, and noise figure F are related as A. TETF1, B. TEFT1, C. TTEF1, D. TETF. The correct answer is TETF1. In binary data transmission DPSK is preferred to PSK because A coherent carrier is not required to the generated at the receiver, B. For a given energy per bit the probability for 0 is less, C. The 180 phase shifts of the carrier, D. More protection is provided against impulse noise. The correct answer is a coherent carrier is not required to the generated at the receiver. A basic group B. A consists of 5 supergroups. B has a frequency range of 60 to 108 kHz. C consists of erect channels only. D is formed at group translating equipment. The correct answer is has a frequency range of 60 to 108 kHz. By the use of which of the following the ppm can be converted to PWM? A stable multivibrator, B integrator, C monostable multivibrator, D bistable multivibrator. The correct answer is bistable multivibrator. Frequency shifting keying is basically a method involving A. Amplitude modulation, B. Frequency modulation, C. Phase modulation, D. None of the above. The correct answer is frequency modulation. Which of the following codes provides parity checks? A. CCAT2, B. EBCDIC, C. ASI, D. Baudot. The correct answer is ASI. PAR radar means A. Phased array radar, B. Pulsed array radar, C. Pulse amplitude radar, D. None of the above. The correct answer is phased array radar. Dynamic range of high AFI system is at least A. 150 dB, B. 120 dB, C. 80 dB, D. 40 dB. The correct answer is 80 dB. A band-limited signal is sampled at the Nyquist rate. The signal can be recovered by passing the samples through A. an RC filter, B. an envelope detector, C. a PPL, D. an ideal low-pass filter with the appropriate bandwidth. The correct answer is an ideal low-pass filter with the appropriate bandwidth. The 7-segment display used in watches and clocks generally uses A. LED, B. LCD, C. photodiode, D. FET. The correct answer is LED. If E10 Sen 10 8 T3 Sen 10 4 T, then modulating frequency is A 159 Hz. B 1590 Hz. C 1.59 MHz. D 15.9 MHz. The correct answer is 1590 Hz. Entropies associated with an extremely unlikely message and that with an extremely likely message are respectively A0 and 0, B1 and 1, C1 and 0, D0 and 1. The correct answer is 0 and 0. In push-button type telephone set, pressing a button generates A1 frequency, B2 high frequencies, C2 low frequencies, D1 low frequency and 1 high frequency. The correct answer is 1 low frequency and 1 high frequency. If sound wave has an intensity of 10 Pa, the dB level is about A 1.139 dB, B 11.39 dB, C 113.9 dB, D 1139 dB. The correct answer is 113.9 dB. The intermediate frequencies in VCR are A video 38.9 MHz and audio 33.4 MHz. B 38.9 MHz for both video and audio. C 33.4 MHz for both video and audio. D 33.4 MHz for video and 38.9 MHz for audio. The correct answer is video 38.9 MHz and audio 33.4 MHz. The unit of loudness is A fun, B sound, C decibel, D mil. The correct answer is decibel. To couple a coaxial line to a parallel line wire, it is best to use A slotted line, B balloon, C directional coupler, D transformer. The correct answer is balloon. The total bandwidth needed for an AM signal at 55.25 MHz with 0.5 MHz video modulation is A 0.25 MHz, B 0.5 MHz, C 1 MHz, D 10 MHz. The correct answer is 1 MHz. The bandwidth required for amplitude modulation is A half the frequency of modulating signal, B equal to the frequency of modulating signal, C twice the frequency of modulating signal, D 4 times the frequency of modulating signal. The correct answer is twice the frequency of modulating signal. In PM without any modulation, all the transmitted pulses have the same A amplitude, B width, C amplitude and spacing, D amplitude, spacing and width. The correct answer is amplitude, spacing and width. Color picture tube needs higher anode voltage and needs larger beam and cathode currents than monochrome tube because A it is bigger in size, B it has higher level of illumination, C the tube has to illuminate 3 phosphors simultaneously, D the tube has lower efficiency because of aperture mask. The correct answer is the tube has lower efficiency because of aperture mask. In frequency modulation, noise can be further reduced by A increasing deviation, B reducing deviation, C reducing carrier frequency, D increasing signal amplitude. The correct answer is increasing deviation. Which one of the following is digital? A pulse code modulation, B pulse width modulation, C pulse frequency modulation, D pulse position modulation. The correct answer is pulse code modulation. Automatic sensitivity control by target voltage control is easily possible in A Vidicon, B Plumbicon, C Nuvicon, D both B and C. The correct answer is Vidicon. Pick the odd one out. A ppm, B PDM, C PWM, D PLM. The correct answer is ppm. In a color TV receiver, SAW filter consists of a piezoelectric substrate on which are deposited two interdigital transducers. B photoconductive substrate which are deposited two interdigital transducers. C photovoltaic substrate which are deposited two interdigital transducers. D photoresistive substrate which are deposited two interdigital transducers. The correct answer is piezoelectric substrate on which are deposited two interdigital transducers. Diffraction of EM waves. A arises only with spherical wave front. B may occur around the edge of an obstacle. C occurs when waves pass through a big slot. D none of the above. The correct answer is occurs when waves pass through a big slot. The start of modern computer age was started by the event A. Development of disk drive, B. Development of transistor, C. Development of Hollerith code, D. Design of EVIAC computer. The correct answer is development of transistor. At night D. Layer of ionosphere is absent. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is true. Which of the following is not correct? A. In SSB amplitude modulated system the transmitter circuit has to be more stable leading to better reception. B. In SSB amplitude modulated system more channel space is available as compared to double sideband amplitude modulated system. C. In SSB amplitude modulated system the signal is more noise resistant as compared to double sideband system. D. An SSB AM system requires lesser power for the same signal strength as compared to DSB AM system. The correct answer is in SSB amplitude modulated system the transmitter circuit has to be more stable leading to better reception. What is the RF amplifier plate voltage when the audio modulating voltage is 600 V? A. 600 V, B. 0, C. 600 V, D. 1200 V. The correct answer is 600 V. FM has A. 2 sidebands only, B. 4 sidebands only, C. 8 sidebands only, D. Infinite sidebands. The correct answer is infinite sidebands. The service area of a TV transmitter is a little beyond radio horizon. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is true. Bit is a unit of A. Entropy, B. Information, C. Channel capacity, D. Rate of information. The correct answer is information. The modulation index of an AM wave is changed from 0 to 1. The transmitted power is A. Unchanged, B. halved, C. Increased by 50, D. Quadrupled. The correct answer is increased by 50. In a radio receiver the input from local oscillator is fed to A. RF amplifier, B. Mixer, C. IF amplifier, D. Detector. The correct answer is mixer. A shadow zone does not receive any space wave. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is true. A radio frequency signal contains the following three frequencies: 850 kHz, 865 kHz, and 875 kHz. In order to amplify this signal, which of the following amplifier should be selected? A. Push-pull amplifier, B. Wideband amplifier, C. Audio frequency amplifier, D. Tuned voltage amplifier. The correct answer is tuned voltage amplifier. Which of the following pulse time modulation is least used? A. PDM, B. PPM, C. PWM, D. PAM. The correct answer is PAM.